Kingdom Scotland is Scotland's first luxury fragrance house. It's a modern, contemporary, niche fragrance house which effectively bottles Scotland. It's inspired by the culture, the cultural quirks, the history, the geology of this beautiful, magical land. The three fragrances I'm developing at the moment is a botanical collection. So the first one is called Arctic Botanicals. It's inspired by an amazing Scottish botanist, Isabel Wiley-Hutchinson. She collected amazing samples, aromatic samples, herbs, flowers, berries, and all of them were brought back to the Royal Botanical Gardens in Edinburgh. The reason I approached Interface for my business was that I'm not a historian, and I was realising that there were lots of rich stories that were to do with perfume and ingredients in Scotland, and I just didn't have the skills to access those through archives and national records. So I approached Interface to see if I could find somebody to help me do this, and St Andrews came to the call, and a great PhD student, Dr. Dawn Hollis, helped me on this project to look into Scotland's perfume past, to look into sourcing ingredients that had a heritage in Scotland.
It's a lot more challenging actually to be doing a project with these very specific questions and with a specific aim in mind. It's very different from sort of just going into the archives and finding what you find. It's going into the archives and saying, I'm looking for specific answers to these specific questions. And that's quite an exciting challenge. And it's also fantastic to think that there's going to be perfumes produced from what I researched, and that I'm actually going to be able to smell my research, which I don't think many historians can say. So yeah, I think it was absolutely an incredibly enlightening experience for me.
We really worked as a partnership and as a team, and the research evolved together when we found out some really interesting stories about Scotland's perfumes past. And I think that's where we only really scratched the surface. So there's so many more stories, there's so many more potential ingredients and angles that we can find. My next area is geology. So I want to look at the whole world of geology, and beyond that, mythology and legend. So bringing out collections under different themes. And beyond that, there's so much more scope for creativity. The big ambition with Kingdom Scotland is for it to be an international brand, and eventually you'll see it on the high street. It'll be a store in its own right. Working with St Andrews is very just for this project. It's the oldest university in Scotland, and it's really delving into Scotland's perfume past. It's been the perfect partnership to bring this to life.